Good afternoon, you guys. It's Monica on the Get to Know Her show, and I am so excited to have Tiffany Pratt with us here today. We're a little late coming on. We had this amazing energy thing. Our technology is not working as we want it to, but we're going to forge ahead. We're going to try something, and we hope you guys can hear us and everything's working well. So if you have never heard of Tiffany Pratt, you are in for a big treat. She is a designer, artist, creative director, author, speaker, television personality, podcaster, and maker. This girl is known as the Queen of Color, and the magic that she puts into all of her work is love. So I am very excited to talk to Tiffany. I'm bringing her on right now, and here she is. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. You look so great.
Thanks. I it was funny. I didn't dress up because I thought it's summertime. It's so hot. I don't know if it's hot where you are, but it's hot, and I was just wanting to be casual. So, and I'm also very burned. My skin's the same color as my hair.
I love it. You're getting some good sunshine. And our friend Maddie just joined. Maddie, can you hear Tiffany okay? Can you give us a sound check? We'll get him to let us know. So Tiffany, you know what I want to start with. I've got so many questions for you. I want to know about your childhood. I want to know, did you grow up as a little artist? What were you like as a kid? One of the things about you that inspires me so much is how you take on so many things. Like I think, oh good, sounds fabulous. Yay! Yay! We did it. So I think, like, as an artist myself, I get trapped in overwhelm a lot. Mm-hmm. And when I see you and I see all the things you've got your hands in, and that you have this way of empowering people to really show them that we can do it all, and whatever lights you on fire, just freaking go for it.
Right. That's right.
So were you raised that way? Were your parents artists? Like, how did you get to this point?
You know, the curiosity around my childhood is something that just everyone is. And the truth of the matter is I was raised by a single parent. My father passed when I was really young, but he was a very brilliant entrepreneur and very much ahead of his time. But we lost him very early. He was 48 when he passed, and my mother raised myself and my two sisters. So there was 3 girls, and she was a single parent working lots of jobs, and she didn't have lots of time to be entertaining us. So, and this is predating, extracurricular activities. I think the only thing you could do was dance or guides or brownies, and that was it. And my mom was a very creative person, but either of my parents or anyone in our family were artists. But my mom took a toll painting class, and she had some toll paints in the basement, so I could get my hands on her toll paints. Then I got my hands on her sewing machine. I started ripping things apart. It just, in the time of my life as a little one, I never considered titling myself as anything. I just knew that when I painted, when I was with colors, when I could touch things and move them around and alter them to a way that made me happy, I felt better. So I never really wanted to, I never considered myself, we didn't grow up in a household that was labeling things as artists or not artists. My little sister played music, my older sister danced, but there was no labels. It was just, we were doing what made us happy. But, I went to art, I went to fashion, I went to creative things to make myself feel happy. It wasn't a conscious choice. When I got into high school, though, I remember being in 9th grade and we had this, it was like a still life. It wasn't even a competition. It was just a day we were doing still life, and my art teacher said, keep going. You have something. So it was like in that moment where I was like, oh, wow. It wasn't even something I just loved doing it. So I think that that's the message here, which is know who you are. It's not about how the world perceives you or how you want to title it. It's about knowing who you are and knowing what you need to feel good in the world. Because that's what I feel like that's what I assimilated in my life, is to create comfort for myself, because there was a lot of uncertainty and there was some sadness, and it was my happy place. And then I had a single parent. So I think as a single mother, she was a shining example of like doing whatever you had to do to put money on the table and knowing there wasn't any man around to like do the hard work. So if you want to do something, you have to do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Wow, what a great lesson. And you know, it's so interesting that you say that, because right now, the world, we're all sitting in this place of uncertainty, right? And funny enough, last week I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, I got to get back to my childhood, like really light up with something. So I went online and I found like a roller dance academy. And actually, just before I was talking to you, I was practicing my roller skating moves in the back there. But you know, these things, it's so funny because as we get older and we try different things like therapy and just figuring out like how to really be our true authentic selves, it is that inner child who is the most important. And sometimes I think, you know, I always kind of thought, well, if I explore the little kid, like, am I regressing? But you're actually becoming more of a woman, you know, and a whole person. So I love what you said there. It's so, so true. Like,
I taught children for a long time, never assuming I would ever teach children art, but I had about 5 years teaching children art. And then I eventually started teaching teens and then adults. And what I learned in that time was we're all just bigger versions of our little selves. I actually had way more fun teaching the kids than the adults, because the adults started to tell themselves they weren't good at things, and they would overthink the process of just the very art of throwing some things together and seeing what happens. And that's the interesting thing about as we grow, we put armor on this pure state that is here just to create and love and help and see people for what they really are. So our work with our inner child is really to take the armor off and to stop telling ourselves things that we were told, and to start to tell ourselves things that are true to who we are.
yeah. Yeah. And isn't it amazing when you just take the time to say something nice to yourself, how great it feels? Because those negative thoughts, and I think for a lot of artists, they can come out so strong, and we don't realize like how we're damaging ourselves. And I know for me too, sometimes I'll create a necklace and I'll kind of love it, but I'm not sure. And I still feel like I need that affirmation of somebody putting it on and saying, wow, this is great. And then I feel like the proud little kid, like, oh, good, I'm on my way. Okay, this is a great design. But you know, it doesn't go away when you're 30, 40, 50, 60. Like you really have to be good to yourself.
I had this conversation the other day with a friend, and it was along this exact line, which is we're all just older beings trying to get the approval of others instead of just approving of ourselves or what we're doing or what we want. We're seeking the approval of someone else to validate our choices. Mm-hmm. And so that's one thing I think I realized. I think I was, you know, in my early 30s, and it was a slow burn, turning 40 in a couple of weeks. And it was like, okay, it's taken about 10 years in this process between 30 and 40 for me to get to a very clear, true place of, I know exactly who I am. And I don't need to pretend anymore. And I don't need anyone to approve of me or my choices. So therefore, creatively, I'm just going to throw whatever spaghetti I have against the wall and see what sticks. And if people like it, great. If people don't like it, it's okay. It's a form of expression, and it's here momentarily until the next thing comes along. So as an artist, if there's anyone out there that's creating, the thing I always say to people that are in the creative arts of any kind, I don't care what you do as long as it's creative, is stop looking around. You know, stop looking at what everyone else is doing and just pay attention to the stuff that you love and the things that light you up, and then produce that. Because when you're working from a place of like just soul work, doing the stuff that really lights you up, that you're really interested in, you don't really care about what other people are doing because you're not competing with anyone, because it's pure state. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. And that's a great segue to your one of your latest projects subjects. I know you're in your 3rd season now, but your Love Jam podcast.
Yeah.
Really great. And I love when you go on your, they're not rants. You know what I mean? When you go into your, they're great. You have this like amazing free flow with your thoughts. And there's a gift, you know, at the end. It's like, right, got it. Okay, this is a much better way of thinking, you know, as opposed to maybe some of the negative stuff that was going through my head before. So you're really, I think it's fantastic how you're creating beautiful things, but you have a voice and you're using it for good, and you're using it to help people. And Tiffany, your number one ingredient in everything you do, I know, is love. And I'd really like to know, did that sort of happen between your 30s and 40s where you realized love was the answer to everything, or earlier than that?
Yeah, I would say just as early as I could figure it out. This is my wiener dog, Poppy.
Poppy.
My mom will tell you stories of when I was little, and I would be more excited about Valentine's Day than I was my own birthday. And I would spend literally weeks before Valentine's Day making sure I hand wrote everyone a letter in my class, because I have always had this inherent understanding that expressing love and showing people how you felt about them was valuable. And my mom is a very expressive, emotional person, so I come by that honestly. But I will say that, you know, hearts and love and spreading love and making people feel happy is truly one of the things that I know I'm supposed to do here on this planet. And so I think when I was in my 20s, I was more concerned with the stuff that I thought I should be doing. And then when I got out of the thinking part of my early part of my life, giving myself all those expectations of who I thought I should be, I settled into my 30s becoming who I know I am. And then also settling into the message of my life, which has always been the constant. And I just had to drill it down. So it's working with that inner child, which is just hearts and love and Valentine's Day, and showing people that whatever they are, whoever they are, whatever they're doing, in whatever form it takes, is enough. And all you need to do is love yourself, love the process, love the being in the goodness and the pain and all of it, because it's all here as this rose-colored teacher, you know?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's so deep, and the insight, just that you had that insight at such a young age, you know, that Valentine's Day was this.
My whole room, I had I even had this in my, I have heart pillows everywhere. Everything is just hearts, and it's but I have laughed, because if you see me when I was in my 20s, I look like a serious, my hair is blonde, I'm wearing black suits, I took myself so serious.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I regressed, but I think I just sort of was I'm done trying to do what I think everyone else wants me to do, and I'm just going to do what I want to do. So yeah, what I decided, and this is for anyone else out there listening, is that I just wanted to embody the feeling that if I can do it, me, Tiffany, if I can just do what I do and be in the world as I am and just let it rip, then it gives everybody else license to do the same.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyone else can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it.
I love it. And you know what I wanted to ask you about that? So as an artist, when you're getting ready to do something, my next big thing is my website needs an overhaul. And I keep looking at it, and I'm going to places that are so far out there that it's okay, I got to rein it in, and so then I'll put it off and I'll look at it again later. Right.
Yeah.
But is there a practice that you do? Do you meditate? Do you call on your angels? What is it that you do when you're getting ready to launch something new? For instance, your latest collaboration you're doing with Trash Talk. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's so innovative. But I mean, those are we look at that on social media and we think, of course, Tiffany figured that out. I mean, you make it look so easy, but I know that is not easy. A seed has to be planted, something needs to be born, an idea needs to develop, and you also have to rein it in, right? So that it makes sense to people and it's easy. So how do you sort of dive into your creative process?
So there's twofold to the question. So the first one is just a daily practice that when you're doing something every day, I had this conversation the other day too, which was your life is an expression of your daily habits. So if what you're deciding to do each day isn't heeding the results that you want, then you have to decide to change the habits to form the life that you desire. So for me, I find I'm most powerful when I am clear in myself, clear in my creative channel, and clear in my choices. So I do transcendental meditation once or twice a day, 20 minutes each time. And I'm always in constant chorus with whatever energy is around me. And I don't need to name it, but I feel, source, good vibrational energy around me. And I talk to it constantly. If I'm in a store, if I'm in a garden, if I'm with my dog, I'll just say, okay, guides, angels, God, whomever's around me right now, let's work with the power here. Show me what you want me to see. Let's do this thing. It's not religious. It's just me calling upon the energy that I know exists. Doesn't need to be something I see. It's something I know I feel. So with something like Trash Talk, RBC approached me and said, we have this partner called Garbage Day. We want to do a video series about fun DIYs that you can do with things that you could throw away or recycle. And then that was it. They left it to me. And I dreamed of things that I figured some of them are easy and some of them weren't so easy. The one I'm launching tomorrow is the most difficult one. But it's what I like to do is speak to the everyman, which is the every DIYer, somebody that loves to DIY and people who don't love to DIY. And I have always created a culture in my brand, which is recycling and upcycling and using what we have is cool, is beautiful. And I always like to put a fun, quirky hook on things because it gets people's attention. So when I came back with my pitch, I said to them, I want to call it Trash Talk with Tiffany Pratt, because they're going to say, like, what the heck, Trash Talk? Like, what is this chick? What is she going to, like, talk some smack? And it gets some people excited about things. So, right. But I'm very lucky. I think very thoroughly about my projects. I think about my projects very holistically, and I also think about them very personally, which is I don't just say yes to everything because not everything is for me. Mm-hmm. And I would rather be authentic than I would take the money. So in this situation, I'm thrilled because again, same as a child, I was the president of the Creation Solution Club. I'm a big environmentalist. I love doing whatever I can for our planet. And so to support this service that has to do with getting people aware of what they're throwing away and how to do that properly, I'm all about it. But if I can make it fun and creative, great. And they were open to my ideas and they let me do it my way. And that was it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you're really wonderful at surrounding yourself with people who, are strong support to you. Like, I know you've got your bestie Coco on your podcast with you. He does a lot of your photography, correct?
Yep.
And that, I think that's so inspiring as well, because we have to do that. We've got to make sure that the people who surround us every day are being good to us and vice versa, that we're raising each other and we're not in competition with each other and we're not tearing each other down, and there's room for everyone. And I think that you really show that in everything you do.
Well, I truly, like, anyone, I know you know this, Monica, but anyone that wants to say that they're a one-man band is a fool. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything great alone. I can't pull off what I pull off sometimes without a group. But the group is not a series or a collection of people that all do the same thing. You need to find people that don't do what you do, and then like what you do, or at least are in line with your philosophies or your moral code. And then you surround yourself with people that just want to fall in line with your project when the time comes. Coco started photography and audio. Well, he was a musician long before all of this, and he had a graphic company, and he still does. But about 10 years ago, he started taking pictures, and I was starting my design career, and we just always supported each other. And if he and I would have been told that 10 years later, you know, he would be doing audio visual photography for my brand, I would have been like, are you kidding me? But I take care of my people. You know, I support them. I know what they're capable of. And in Coco's case, I push him. He didn't want to do the podcast. He doesn't want to do video, but now he's doing them and he loves it. So we also have to push each other, you know, as creatives. We have to show each other what's possible, because that's what it's all about, is with the family. With the team.
Mm-hmm. It is. You're amazing, girl.
Oh, everybody's amazing. You're amazing. Let's talk about you. I first met you, and you were like, "Hey, my name's Monica. I'm Glam Jules. I'm at the One of a Kind. You got to come to my booth." And you had the whole thing set up. This beautiful necklace, which I realized I should have been wearing it right now. But anyways,
it's okay.
Punchline is, you are amazing. And you are taking your time, reaching out to others, and you're inspiring your crew, and you're showing people what's possible with what you do with your time. And I think that that's the greatest gift any of us have, is time and what we do with it. You know, we're not squandering it away, just doing stuff that just passes it by. And this is something that you're doing. You're gifting your people some information and inspiration, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for saying yes today.
Oh, of course.
And I want to invite you to a little Instagram after party.
Okay.
If that's okay. So I'll go live on Glam Jules. You'll see that I'm live.
And then I'll jump over.
And then you'll jump over. Yeah.
Done. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I love you, Monica.
I love you.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Okay.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for waiting. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties we were having earlier, but Maddie, thanks for chiming in and letting us know that you could hear us and everything was good. So it's a lot of fun. It's a live platform. So, hey, anything goes and anything can and may go wrong at any time, but it's okay. Thank you all for joining, and please come on over to Instagram and join our after party. We'll see you there.